It's that time again where I look at a pop song and spend way too much time talking about it. Today we're going to be talking too much about Havana by Camila Cabello featuring Young Thug.
Camila Cabello.
Camila Cabello is a Cuban-American singer who formerly was part of Fifth Harmony. Since then, she has separated from the group and worked on her own. Since she hasn't been on her own that long, most of her popular tracks are in collaborations with other artists, such as
I know what you did last summer. Tell me where you've been. I know what you did last summer.
and
If you only knew the bad things I like, don't think that I can't explain it.
Young Thug.
Jeffrey Lamar Williams, aka Young Thug, is an American rapper based out of Atlanta, most known for his songs
That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Bless big old booty bitch message from Texas.
in addition to
Please believe every mother Friday won't be a part. She gon' do anything in her power to be with your mind. Pick up the phone.
Background.
Havana was released September 8th, 2017 and charted shortly thereafter at number 94. It has since gained in popularity, and as of the end of November, it is at number 2. Havana is off of Cabello's upcoming debut album that was previously titled The Hurting, The Healing, The Loving. As of right now, it is just frequently referred to as CC1. Havana was not originally the lead single of the album. The lead single was previously
Ain't no crying in the club, hey, hey, let the beat carry your tears as they fall, baby. Ain't no crying in the club.
but was later cut from the album entirely. Since then, Cabello has released 2 more tracks in order to further promote the album, those being
I have a question. Number one, tell me who you think you are.
and
You look good today, yeah. Oh my God.
both Cabello and Young Thug are listed as writers for the track, in addition to a bunch of other people. Brittany Hazard, known better as Stara, Ali Tamposi, Brian Lee, Andrew Watt, Pharrell Williams, Louis Bell, and Adam Feeney, aka Frank Dukes, were all involved in the making of the song. It is good to mention that both Pharrell and Stara are additional voices in the song as well. Pharrell Williams is probably the biggest name on this list, as he is quite the affluent artist himself. In addition, he has quite a production discography, especially when he was part of the production duo with Chad Hugo called the Neptunes. Anytime Pharrell does a song or is featured on a song, he is listed as a writer and sometimes both as a producer, given he does have some production credits as well where he is not a featured artist, such as
Elephant tusk on the bow of a sailing lady. Docked on the Ivory Coast.
and Brian Lee is a Korean-American songwriter and has done various pop songs throughout his history, such as
It's always a good time.
and
Let my body do the work, work. We can work from home.
Ali Tamposi is another songwriter out of Florida who's very much known for writing the song
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Louis Bell should sound familiar, as we talked about him in the last episode when we covered
All my brothers got that gas and they always be smoking like a rock star.
Adam Feeney, aka Frank Dukes, is a Canadian producer and DJ who is known for working on the song.
Immortalized on the shirt, real niggas don't die. Fall with the plot, 1745.
Finally, we have LA-based songwriter Stara, who also sings and raps, and New York-based guitarist Andrew Watt, who has many songwriting credits to his name as well. If you're wondering why I'm kind of skipping over their music credits, is because a lot of these people, minus Pharrell, have worked together on various pop songs before, so I'll just run down the list and show you who did what.
Now they always say congratulations. Work so hard, forgot how to vacation. I got fake people showing fake love to me, straight up to my face.
It laid me.
Let me love you.
You needed me. I've been crying with the wolves to get to you.
And people wonder why all pop music sounds the same. Havana is released by both Epic and Psycho.
Form.
Havana is both categorized as a Latin and a pop song, is just over 3.5 minutes long, is in G minor, 4/4 time, and 105 beats per minute. The song opens with a Pharrell shout and some piano. This then takes us to the chorus, sung by Cabello, with some more Pharrell shouting in the background.
Havana, ooh, nah, nah.
Cabello then takes us to the first verse.
Didn't walk up with that, how you doing? When he came in, he said, let's
Then she moves on to the first and only pre-chorus.
go.
Then, of course, followed by the second chorus.
Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh, nah, nah.
We then get the second verse done by Young Thug,
Just graduated fresh on campus.
followed by Cabello doing a third chorus.
He took me back to East Atlanta, nah, nah, nah.
We then have the bridge, which starts with Stara, followed by Cabello.
Take me back, back, back.
The bridge also gives us this lovely trumpet solo, which does continue into the next part of the song. That next part being the last chorus.
Havana, ooh, nah, nah.
The trumpet then finally takes us out of the song.
Havana, ooh, nah, nah.
Instruments.
With the strong Cuban influence, it is no surprise that there is more traditional instrumentation combined with some more electronic ones.
Piano.
The piano, which is the first thing we hear in this song, reinforces the harmonic minor given the emphasis on the F sharp, providing the harmony of G minor, E flat major, and then D7. During Young Thug's verse, the piano becomes much more simplified, losing its explicit harmonies and just doing this eighth note melody in octaves. We can only go so far with this until it just becomes a guttural yell. The bass kind of does a simplified version of what the piano was doing in its bass clef, given it's not nearly as dynamic.
Trumpet.
The trumpet comes in with this lovely melody starting at the G and going up to the D before falling all the way back down. It repeats that motion, but at the end ends on this F sharp, furthering the harmonic minor. It repeats that melody again, but begins to change towards the end. That change eventually leads into the trumpet solo proper. And then came all this nonsense, which was a pain to transcribe using notation that you guys might not even know unless you're a musician. After all that, the trumpet does go back to the thing we heard earlier. And it changes it yet again to do the ending of the song.
Vocals.
The vocals aren't that complex, but they do have their slight nuances to them.
Chorus.
The chorus isn't terribly complex melodically speaking. It's not complex lyrically speaking either, using words such as ooh na na and na na na.
Havana, ooh, nah, nah. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh, nah, nah. He took me back to East Atlanta, nah, nah, nah.
The second part of the chorus becomes a bit more complex rhythmically speaking, but is still fairly similar to the first part.
All of my heart is in Havana. There's something about his manners. Havana, ooh, nah, nah.
If you're wondering about the oohs that you hear later in the chorus done by Pharrell, I'm not really going to bother with it. It's really short, it's really simple, it's just not worth the time. I'm not going to do it. You can't make me. I'm not.
Camila Cabello's verse.
Cabello opens her verse with not a lot of melodic range, but has this wonderful interplay between triplet and straight eighth notes.
He didn't walk up with that, how you doing? When he came in, he said there's a lot of girls I can do it.
She increases her range in the second half of her verse, as well as adding new rhythms, but she still ends with that interplay between the tripled and straight eighth notes before bringing us into her pre-chorus.
I'll do it forever in a minute. Papa says he got Milo in him. He got me feeling like.
During her verse, she does this call and response with herself, given her response has some vocal effects added to sound like a different voice.
When he came in, he said,
Pre-chorus.
She opens with this long melisma before singing over herself in a variety of third and fourth intervals.
ooh, I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like.
She then repeats this, but changes the rhythms in the intervals in the second phrase, as well as the lyrics, of course.
Ooh, and then I had to tell him I had to go. Oh, na 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 na.
Young Thug's verse.
Young Thug opens his verse with these simplistic eighth note rhythms that become more complicated as it goes on, but pay more close attention to his melodies, which more enforce the keys related major B flat.
Just graduated fresh on campus. Fresh out East Atlanta with no mountains. Damn, fresh out East Atlanta. Up on board like a traffic jam.
As his verse continues, his rhythms become more complex and his melodic range goes higher.
I was quick to pay that girl like Uncle Sam. Here you go, ayy, take it on me. Shout craving on me, get the beating on me. She waited on me, shout caking on me, got the bacon on me.
He then ends with this theme that goes between 16th notes and 8th notes, as well as a short melisma at the end of each bar.
This is history in the making on me. Point blank, close range, that feed. If it goes a million, that's me. I was getting moolah, baby.
Bridge.
The bridge has this back and forth between Starra and Cabello, Starra doing the ooh nah nahs, and Cabello doing the take me backs.
Take me back, back, back. Take me back, back, back.
I really do like this song as it's very much a fusion of Cabello's both American and Cuban heritage, and you can tell she very much wishes to go back to Cuba, especially considering she was born in Havana, so it's no shocker when she keeps telling you to.
Take me back to my Havana, ooh, na, na. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh, na, na. He took me back to East Atlanta, na, na, na. All of my heart is in Havana. My heart is in Havana.
Alright, fine, this is what the oohs are doing in the other choruses. See, it's not that complex and it's really short. Hell, this is what that brass choir does in the end, too.